Guys, welcome back to More Than Society, season number 2. So we have with me Anadi.
Just me today. What's up, guys?
And Garvit is a bit feeling under the weather, so we're going to go about it anyway. We have less time, everything was kind of rushed a bit, but I think we did it with our full intention and full heart, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're not, you can check out our previous episodes and give it some feedback, share it. It would mean a lot to me. And again, thank you for those viewers who've been up to date with our podcast. It means a lot to us to share our ideas. And again, I really like to know how you guys think. So always remember to comment or write to me personally, and I would love to discuss more of some points that I didn't reach out. So we're in beautiful Uluwatu, Bali, and it's a beautiful day today.
Oh yeah, it's perfect for the beach, right?
Yeah, it's perfect for the beach. But it makes me think sometimes, life is not always shiny and happy all the time, And even sometimes you have the most beautiful things around you, you feel guilty for not enjoying them, right?
Right, yeah.
And so today's topic is very special to me and to us, I guess.
Yeah.
We're gonna dive about how depression and anxiety influences our life, and how sometimes it's not always such a negative thing as society puts it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna jump right into it.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and what do you think about this?
So I never really paid attention to depression, anxiety before the tragic accident that happened in December 2023. I never really thought it was such a big deal, and personally thought it was just made up in the mind and anybody can overcome it. It's not a big deal. It never is a big deal, and it doesn't really exist. But since after the incident that happened in December,
you want to talk a little bit about the incident?
A little bit, yeah, sure. I was caught in a house fire in the morning of Sunday morning, 7 a.m. and it was a serious one where I narrowly escaped death with my little brother Garvit. He was here for the podcast. And since then, it's really affected me a lot. And now I know what depression and what anxiety and trauma really is. It's serious. It's a serious matter, and there's no gender. There's no an animal can go through it. Humans can go through it, and it's a serious topic because it fundamentally can play a role in the function of your life. And if your fundamentals are wrong, then life is just it's not enjoyable, and we're so limited time. So yeah, that's what I wanted to quickly say.
Yeah, so this incident was we already shared family trauma, but I think this incident also, we shared this crazy incident that happened to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And actually before the fire even, in Montreal, I was a bit depressed, and because sometimes you have depression, you know the cause, you're okay, a breakup, you know the reason for it, right? But in Montreal, everything was nice. I had good friends, I had food in my table, I had a roof under and I was still not feeling that happiness, and I was feel guilty. I'm why am I not happy? I should be enjoying life, I should be doing this. But after this incident, because it was obvious why I was sad, right? I lost Zorba, my cat, everything I owned. So it's obvious that, okay.
I just want to backtrack a little. You're saying that you didn't feel good after the fire? Or is this before you were not
Even
happy?
Before, I was not happy. I was not happy. And now in hindsight, because of this fire, I knew exactly why I was depressed.
Before the
after,
fire?
No, after the fire. Because after the fire, I knew, okay, fire caused me this more trauma, right? Losing Zorba, losing someone that I love, that anxiety, everything can just lose. So I had I had a reason why I was depressed, and then I incorporated tools to help me overcome it. But now in hindsight, I realized that I was actually depressed before the fire, and I wish I started to have this conversation with myself even before.
Right.
I wish I took my mental state more seriously instead of always pushing. And yes, it's true, we have good days and bad days, and life is not linear.
Yeah.
But there is a depression and anxiety is different.
It's different. It's your one of your fundamental pillars, and it's I'll say there could be many. I don't know how many could there be, but there's one of them is that, and it's when it starts to crack and just starts to break down. Your life starts to break down and crack, and you think you're sad because of just a random day you're sad. But if it's on a consistent basis, like you see a trend, like you see a downtrend in your life's quality of life, then there's something wrong, for sure.
Yeah. Like every day I would wake up and be like, okay, today's gonna, like I would try to pump myself up.
Yeah.
But you should just naturally be excited.
Yeah, you should naturally be excited. I also want to say, like, you shouldn't put so much weight on emotions either. Like, you shouldn't force happiness or think satisfaction or even sadness is a bad thing. Like, these are just things that would happen on day to day, even minute to minute. And you shouldn't put so much weight on feelings so much that you just depend on feelings to do things or to take action or to think and make decisions. I just want to say that too.
Yeah, like example, like sometimes you don't want to go to the gym, right? You don't feel like going to the gym, but then when you know that it's good for you and when you do it, you feel good.
Yeah.
So that type of struggle is good. Like, you know that you're just being lazy or procrastinating, fine.
That's one example, and I think it's easy because we're so, it's like, it's talked about so much with fitness, but there's little things like, I don't feel like eating, you're just like, you're sad and you're just like, you don't feel like you don't have the hunger or the appetite, but you know that you have to eat in order to function.
Right.
And if that's trickling down, that's what happened to me. And if that's becoming a serious thing and you start to lose weight and you're not eating, you start to lose sleep, you start to lose your brain function, your mood depends on the foods that you eat.
Yeah.
And when you're eating, and then things starts to that's what I want to say about feelings and taking depression and anxiety seriously.
True. Like our ancestors, it's like predominant to have fear and anxiety because it's like meant to protect us, right?
Yeah.
This is a poisonous snake, don't go near it, right?
Yeah.
So we have this natural tendencies to have fear.
It's a normal human response,
right?
Right.
And I realized also reading that some article, and I'm sure you guys read these books. It was saying something that we tend to remember the negative things because it's a way for us to survive. Our ancestors had to remember all the poisonous snakes, all the poisonous plants, because if they didn't, they wouldn't survive. Yeah. So we have a tendency to also remember more negative than
that's
positive.
What I really want to talk about is I know anxiety, depression is like really taught on us to be negative, to be taken
you're depressed. Oh, that's
bad.
Yeah.
But it's a human nature and it's a human part of human function. There's a lot of good things that come out of this, and I don't want people to think that because they're depressed their life is over. There's a lot of good things that come out of this. It builds character, it builds resiliency, it teaches you about life, and you should respect that yes, you're depressed, and it's definitely not a bad thing, and it's good. It's going to build you up, and you're going to be able to even teach others through your experience, and you're going to treat others differently.
Yeah, 100%.
So in that sense, depression is actually really good, and so is anxiety. I mean, anxiety is our intuitive sense, right? It's our intuition telling us, stay away from this, it's danger. And you should respect that too. And it's not, like, anxiety is good. It can motivate us.
Yeah.
It motivates us. It keeps us disciplined too, because you get anxious because you're not following a plan that you made up, maybe, right? And then you're anxious, but then you follow through the plan, and then your anxiety is gone. And that anxiety served you well to do the plan that you initially thought of doing.
True. I remember Jim Carrey said this. He's like, when you're in depression, your body needs deep rest.
Yeah.
And that really hit me. And I was like, it's true. Why am I forcing myself? I should just listen to my body. I don't feel good. I don't feel good. And I need to understand what is going on in my life that's not making me resonate with the joie de vivre, this excitement to...
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you got to take 2 steps back in order to take 3 steps forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You got to do that. And it sometimes gets so hard because you're so caught up with just taking steps, and that causes anxiety because you're just like, I think also, I want to take steps, and if I take 1 step back, that's like an opportunity of me not taking another step, but really that quality, you want to take quality steps, right?
What does that mean for you, quality steps?
Like, you don't want to half-ass things, right? You want to take quality.
Like be mindful of each.
Of each step. Like let's say if it's work or whatever it is, the step that you want to take. You want to take it to the highest quality that you can. And if it's half-assed, even though it's a step, is it really counted as a step? And what if you were to take 2 steps back? That would, and then you take another step. That's like a high quality, good step. And in the long run, and if you were to accumulate in months or even weeks or whatever the goal is, and you see the trend and you're like, wow, this is quality work that we just did.
Sorry guys about the noise.
There's outside. A lot of construction going on.
Yeah, it was kind of peaceful and we were like, okay, let's do it outside because we were just like inside and it's a lovely day.
It's also windy and I think the door is going back and forth. but hopefully it's good.
I was going to say that sometimes, the thing is that we're autopilot. We get autopilot. Yeah. So some people, I remember I was in a victim mentality and I would just I felt like this is just how it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is life. It's dark. It's sad. Like, what's their happiness? Like, oh, that's just an illusion. And every day I would just be pessimistic in a weird way, And I didn't even want to help myself because I got comfortable being a victim. Mm-hmm. I got comfortable being depressed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get really caught up into it in this world of darkness and cloudiness. That you're just like your body finds homeostasis really quickly.
Yes.
Things, you'll talk to a fitness guy and you can walk like 5 kilometers like it's nothing. But then if someone that's never walked more than 100 meters or 200 meters would be like, wow, 5 kilometers would be a lot. So it quickly finds homeostasis, like base level, and we need to recognize where our homeostasis is, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not in a negative place where we're stuck.
And also, as humans, I think we should always have a goal to compete with ourselves and grow for ourselves. Like, am I a better version than I was yesterday?
Right.
And we get so caught up with external things that actually causes more anxiety and more depression.
Yeah.
But it's come back home, come back to actually taking a tap on your back and being grateful. Hey, you know what? Yesterday I cried half an hour. Today I cried 10 minutes.
Even if it's 2 minutes, it's fine, bro. The smallest things that you could do to improve, even if it's taking you 48 hours, even if it takes you a month, and it's a small step, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and
it doesn't matter.
Take the time to be grateful of your own progression, and I think that helps a lot to take away this illusion that you suck or this narrative.
You're not moving fast enough, or that this is a slow progress. You should be moving quicker here, or take your time with depression, anxiety, and listen to when you want to do it. Do it, but don't force it either.
Yeah, and I don't think anxiety can ever leave anyone. You will always have anxiety, and it's a tool that we use to understand the world, to make plans of the future, and also listen to what's your intuition telling you. So I think that anxiety is good in this way, that it's one of your emotions, it's one of your tools to listen to. And if you're uncomfortable because deep inside that this is not the right environment for you. Right. You have friendships and then you're like, man, I feel so depressed after talking to them, but man, they're my friends for so many years. Right. Maybe take a step back and listen, why did I feel like this? What is going on? What are the actions that I can take, instead of being like, oh no, I should be happy, I'm a bad person, put it under the rug. I think that's the time when you can really self-reflect. And I remember there was a philosopher, Descartes, he was like, everyone should just sit in bed and contemplate about life. Hours. Just sit in bed alone and think about life. What do you want from yourself? What is happening? What is going on? Yeah. And you, in a weird way, you can be your own, you are your own therapist. Yeah. A lot of people are like, I need a therapy. I mean, therapy is really good. I'm going sidetrack here, but therapy is really good. Yes, it's good to go seek help, but I really feel that conversation that you can have
ultimately,
with yourself.
I believe therapy is like a catalyst. A catalyst to rejoin to yourself and connect to yourself and your own voice and awareness. Yeah. And that's what that is.
And there's so many tools on YouTube that you can look up. I know that sometimes meditation is really hard when you're in a high level of anxiety. Right. So you can do static meditation or tapping and things. And I know it looks really stupid because you're like, what am I doing tapping? But these little things really help. And I think the more we let go of the mind and we connect to our bodies, that anxiety kind of fades. You shed a light to it and it starts laughing. I don't know, maybe it sounds chaotic and weird.
Yeah, because you're doing something so mundane and so weird, out of the box, that you start to think out of the box.
Yeah.
You put yourself out because
Exactly.
you're doing things that are out of the box.
True.
Like
true.
you would never imagine doing these tapping things, or even like just screaming and yelling
Yeah.
in the room. Doing these things
Yeah,
that
like-
you never would have thought of, and you just do it, and you're like, holy shit, I'm like woken up.
Yeah.
That's why I think cold plunges, things like that guys do, and saunas, semen retention, fasting, things like that. It's just like, just shocking the body and bringing you out of that state,
homeostasis,
and then your body responds in that certain way, and it actually starts to kill off your old cells and build new cells.
Yeah, good point on that.
Yeah,
Like
it's
what
very much like that.
What helped me with my depression, anxiety was like, being like, okay, first of all acknowledging it, then actually going out there and finding the tools and actually doing it, even though it's so uncomfortable. Like you wouldn't believe. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this Osho meditation, and I look and I'm judging. My ego is judging because it's like it wants to protect me. It's like, no, come on, this is stupid. But I was like, no, I'm tired of this feeling. I have to make proactive measures. And I just put myself out there. Like, okay, so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But in the end, when I did that, it was working. It was slowly working and working. And then I realized, I was like, wow, my mind is such a little...
Yeah, the mind is... It can take you wherever you want to go.
Yes, and it's so powerful
it's
like
powerful,
that.
Powerful,
but the body really connects you
Yeah.
to this peaceful state more than the mind.
Right.
And I think we forget about the body.
Right.
Like swimming, just running,
Yeah.
reading, journaling,
Right.
breathing, like all these little...
There's so many things that you could do, and also don't let anyone tell you to do the certain things that you're not comfortable
That's
doing
a good point.
too, because that can induce anxiety again because you're just not comfortable doing it.
True.
And everyone has their own methods
That's
and protocols they want to do. So read upon all of them and see what connects with you, and it shouldn't be hard. Like it's going to connect. You don't. It shouldn't be so hard that you're getting anxiety again just to do it, because then that's defeating the purpose.
And I think that anxiety and depression is really important for self-growth. I think that you will not be able to grow without it.
For sure,
And
absolutely.
I remember feeling like, why am I so sensitive? Like, why am I getting so sensitive? And then I realized, like, this is a beautiful thing. Like, I am experiencing life.
It's life.
In such a higher level that maybe most people don't even get to. And that's
that would be the saddest thing. I mean, someone that's never gone through anxiety or depression or trauma, that would be pretty imagine the character that person would have.
They wouldn't even, it would be kind of like ignorance is bliss, right? In their little bubble. And like the fire at first I was like, what? This is my story? I can't believe this is happening to me. And now after going through it, going literally through the fire of myself and facing it, I respect life. Like death and like losing, like you don't have control.
You kind of have like this respect for that moment too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and you have humbleness for life.
Yeah, but you're kind of like grateful for that moment, that negative, that tragic moment, in a way.
In a weird way, yeah.
In a weird way. Maybe we're not there yet. Maybe soon we will be. But I think it's like that, right?
I mean, I wouldn't be here if it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have experienced so many things about life, about how to deal with things like that.
Like I'm completely different than who I was, for sure.
And in the beginning I was so bad. Like I was in the most beautiful places, right? And I'm just like, I don't even appreciate it. And I felt so guilty. But I said, it's okay. I am allowed to feel how I'm allowed to feel. And these are my emotions. And I don't need to be a certain way to get validation from what? Like, I don't need to always be happy.
Right.
And then when I admitted that, slowly, I started to feel happy and relaxed.
That's it. Yeah. Because you're just pushing for something. You can't push for emotions.
You can't push.
For emotions.
Like it's like, oh, I want to cry, but I don't find it sad.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
How dumb is that?
You'll cry when you cry.
You'll cry when you cry.
And respect it when you do cry. Yeah.
So I really think that, slowly I think the generation is changing. Like if you were to talk to our parents or especially our father, he'd be like, take therapy or depression. They'd be like, what are you talking about? There's no such thing as depression,
Yeah,
like,
that's how I was before,
Right?
Yeah.
And now the generation, I think, is changing. It's like, no, get mental health.
Yeah,
Go deep
yeah,
down in your traumas.
yeah,
Face
yeah.
it, you
Even
know?
if you're happy in life,
Yes,
you should check yourself out. I
Yeah.
would say that.
true.
Now I say that. This is something I would never say before that tragic accident that happened. Even if you're happy and everything is swell in your life, just go to talk to and just check on yourself. See if everything is really actually okay.
And don't give up on therapy, you know? Like, I remember trying to get therapy when I was going through a breakup, and then the lady was talking to me, and I was like, this lady's stupid. I'm, like, smarter than her, you know? Because I have a very analytical mind.
Yeah.
And then I realized that, okay, therapy also, it's like a journey. You have to find the right therapist that resonates with you, and you have to be very vulnerable, and you have to be very open to the ideas, and just listen.
Right.
And sometimes it's not about the therapy telling you what to do. It's like you have someone listening to your problems for an hour,
Yeah.
and as you're talking,
You're
listening to yourself.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, this is how I feel. Because you think thoughts and you think you know them, but actually talking out loud or journaling gives another dimension to that problem, another light to those conversations that you're having.
Absolutely.
And you actually get the light bulb, you know, because I believe we're all God inside, and we're also all the devil inside of us. And it's like, what angel are you going to play with? You know, and they're always intertwining all the time. And I feel like now my sense, even now, like let's say I'm sad or depressed, or like something happens and I know I'm sad, I'm really accepting. I'm like, okay, I'm sad because of this. It's fine. I'm sad. That's it. But old men would be like, why am I sad? I shouldn't be sad. Come on, man. Be stronger than that. You're stronger than that. Like, for what?
No, yeah.
Like, chill. It's
Chill,
okay.
yeah.
It's human experience.
Yeah.
And as artists, you know, people go through addictions and stuff. And because they are so sensitive, because they're able to see dimensions of life that other people cannot see.
Right.
And they don't have and they feel guilty, and that's why they go into substance abuse and stuff, because they're like, oh, it's too much, I need to numb
That
it.
could be one of the reasons.
You know, and I think like that's why a lot of artists talk about pain and depression, and a lot of good art comes from there, because you're tapping into something so humane.
Right. There's more people that are more just more connected emotionally to them to their emotions rather than their logical mind.
Yeah.
And emotions can be so weird and so complex that they can drive you in different places and different things. Just randomly.
Randomly. But I find that it's beautiful. It's like you have a
sure.
tool to connect
For
to
sure.
something
Obviously,
so abstract,
So yeah, and it's personal.
It's
right?
very personal.
Yeah. And I also want to say, like, before we move on, therapy, it's good, but like everything, it's also not like one shot solution to depression, anxiety. I mean, just for a lot of people, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And
true.
At that certain point, you gotta accept that therapy's not it. Maybe something else will work. But yeah.
Like we're here having this role, like we have no idea what it means, like death. You know, we all have speculation about it. So when you're going through depression or anxiety, go out there, find these tools that resonate, especially now with the internet and information. Seek help and make it I know it's hard when you're depressed, but make it into a game that like, okay, I can do this. Like, what are the tools? Let me see. Let me play with myself. Like, tap into that inner child and have that conversation. Like, what's wrong? Why are you sad? And, you know, like that inner child is always there.
Why are you sad on a consistent basis for a lot of days and weeks? And, and you see your life quality dropping. I just want to repeat that again. Because sadness and happiness will come and go every second, every minute. That's fine. Like we said.
What are the symptoms for you that you had for anxiety?
So I didn't recognize that I had it till months later, because like I was before, I always thought that it was fugazi, that it doesn't exist. So it's just slowly became bad, worse and worse and worse. Where I was starting to lose sleep, appetite, just brain function, not enjoying things that I would used to. Like always, my brain would constantly think of things to do.
You're avoiding it.
I'm avoiding it, but it's manifesting in a way where I just want to do things and just not stop. Like I can go for walks, I can start cooking, doing random things. I just don't stop. I don't want to like just sit still. And I was like, wait, I'm not that kind of person. And I was starting to lose weight. I would start to throw up right after eating. I wouldn't eat for days, not sleep for days, and that's where I recognized, and my relationship started to change. I started to neglect my dog and I would not like pet him or love him anymore. That was weird when I noticed that. That was harsh. I was like, oh my god, who am I now?
Yeah, like you're full of anger and like for me, I was full of anger and pettiness and judging. I was so judgmental. I was like, and then I'm like, why am I don't know.
And
I
you
was
were
just,
never like that.
yeah, like I was all like, oh love, and I was like, oh, just get away, and like, and you know deep down inside you can't continue like that.
Yeah. And it manifests in everybody different ways, right? Like it'll manifest with you like this, and it'll manifest with me like that, and it'll manifest with you guys in different ways. But you gotta really recognize when it's manifesting.
What also helped me was that instead of eliminating things, like, okay, I won't do this because this is, I think it's good to replace things. Replace,
What do you mean?
like, instead of like, okay, I'm not gonna eat junk food. It's like replace it with good food. You know, like, okay, maybe the gym is too much. Replace it with yoga. You know, like, don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, replace the little by little, try to kind of replace your lifestyle, your activities, to kind of change.
Hobbies?
Yeah, your hobbies. To
Yeah,
kind
that
of
could work too.
to change up.
Well, yeah,
that,
like we discussed, like bringing your activities and hobbies, so you can think outside the box more.
Yeah.
So you can recognize that, oh wait, this is more enjoyable than.
And I think that our brain is really, really powerful, like the neuroplasticity and everything like that, right? So once you go through something,
right,
and then
your brain starts to make new connections
Yeah.
and neurons. Like actually, like if you were to MRI a brain, like post depression, anxiety, you'll see new connections, new neurons.
Yeah, and I would like to say don't go into substance abuse and don't try to replace it with like dating or sex or partying. Like, okay, maybe in the beginning something you do it, but like long term,
it's not going to serve you.
It's not going to serve you at all, and you're just going to be stuck.
Yeah,
and like the devil, I don't know, like maybe it's just too spiritual, but like the devil actually catches that and loves that. It's like, yes, you're sad. I don't know, you know, sometimes our brain are not our best friends, and we need to remember that.
Right, yeah. It's all about delayed satisfaction. Delayed, the things that are good would be delayed. So like, you know, you work out one day, you won't get results. You work out 2 days, you won't get results. And, you know, after 3-4 weeks is when you'll notice the result.
True.
And things like that are golden.
True.
Things that have delayed satisfaction. Those things you need to stick to.
Yeah.
Long term.
True. Like when I started my spiritual journey in the mountains, it's not that I woke up one day 5 a.m. did my meditation, went to I did it like repeatedly for months and months.
You have to be like disciplined and consistent, just like you brush your teeth, guys, every morning.
Yeah.
Like you have to do it like
consistently.
That.
And honestly, like, okay, first week, whatever, but then suddenly it was like a trend that was like just went up.
Yeah.
And then I even my voice changed. Like I was like so mellow, the way I was talking.
Wow.
Like people would cut me and I'll be like, okay, I don't know. And I was like, whoa, what is this? Is this still me? Like, but it's that consistency, and I didn't really have any expectation. I was just like, okay, I just have to do this task.
Right.
And I just did that task.
Day in, day out.
Yeah, like just moment. Like, okay, I would wake up, I'm like, I have to do this. Moment, I have to do this.
Right.
And I didn't think about like, okay.
Like the results.
Yeah, or like what I'm going to do. No, today from this to this, I have to do this. This is done, this to this, gotta do this.
The word is called delayed gratification.
You know? Like just momentarily, I just did that thing. Instead of like, you know, back home, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do that, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do that. And then that, if I do that, then that's going to happen. I didn't do any of that.
Right.
I was like, no, moment at a time. Now it's time to meditate. Good. Now it's time to take a shower. Okay, now it's time to cook. Like very, very simple tasks.
Routine.
Yeah. And I also tried to like watch my thoughts, you know? And I was kind of strict. I was like, no, we're not going to talk about the fire because we've been through it. It's not like don't deny your thoughts. But if it's like always just attacking you all the time, like you be your best friend. That inner child doesn't need that.
You're having a conversation with yourself and be nice to yourself.
Yeah.
Like be that best friend that you know or you want to be with.
Exactly.
Right? Like just be like, bro, like, would you have that conversation day in, day out with somebody? You wouldn't, so why would you have it with yourself?
Like my new thing now, it's like, you know, as a woman and maybe everyone, like they want a partnership, they want a relationship. But after living in the mountain, I was like, whoa, this relationship never goes away.
Yeah.
And it's my job day in and day out to cultivate it every day in such a beautiful way that I accept myself from all my ugliest forms.
Right.
You know, and I realize the most important relationship one ever has is the one with themselves.
Right.
And they never teach that.
Yeah.
They never say that. Meditate, take the time to talk to yourself. What are the conversations you're having?
Yeah.
And that really clicked to me, and I always advocate. I was like, guys, like, before you want to have a relationship, before you even have your start of your business or something, like, are you doing it for the right reasons for yourself?
Yeah.
Are you having that conversation with yourself?
Yeah. Don't do it even if it's like, I don't want to sound so harsh, but even if it's for your family or your kids or whatever, like, you have to first do it for yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then you have to ask, like, is this thing gonna make me happy long term or not? If it's short term, it can not make you happy because, you know, obviously it's gonna take discipline and it's gonna take work and it's gonna be hard.
Uncomfortable because it's new.
Yeah, uncomfortable. Yeah, and again, anxiety is gonna show up and depression, and that's where I think it'll serve you good. But ask long term, would this make me happy? For me, and then if it is making you happy, it'll make the people around you happy.
True.
Automatically. You don't need to be so like, okay, I have to make my kids happy now. I gotta make my wife happy now, and I gotta make everything so nice for everybody around me because it'll just automatically be because you're happy inside.
And then you're gonna have a little bit of resentment because if it's gonna be hard or complicated or uncomfortable, you're gonna be like, yeah, well, you making me do this. I don't even want to do this.
Yeah.
You know, that inner intrinsic motivation is not gonna be there. Exactly. Yeah. And that's a really good point.
And all you'll talk about is like, oh, I do it for my kids. I do it for my wife. I do it for my
community,
my children. You know, like it'll just be that, and that's so anxious driven, so negative driven.
And it's not. I feel like it's not foundationally strong.
And it's not life.
Yeah.
It's not life.
Okay, and like really be honest with yourself. Like you cannot lie to yourself.
Yeah, like if you want to pick up garbage, like pick up garbage.
Yeah.
Don't let people tell you that that's the wrong thing to do.
Right. Yeah. Is there anything you want to add? I feel like we covered pretty much good.
Yeah, that's everything that I wanted to say.
Yeah, so thank you so much, guys, for listening, and this is a really dear topic to us, and life can change so suddenly anytime, but just remember that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and it's really, really true. And like, I know it might be psychotic to think this, but I really believe that universe gives the people challenges who are able to cope with them. And if you're going through something really hard and something bad happens, just know that you are God's child and you have it in you to face it and to go through it and see the other side of it. And when you see the other side of it, it's so magical. Like, you're a different person, but in such a beautiful, stronger way. And it's waiting for you. It's waiting for you out there, and it's available anytime that you want. Like, universe is there to help you anytime that you want. People come in your life, they will give you some tools. You will look up YouTube, you'll see something. Like, just be open that help is out there and you are ready to receive it, and it will just start coming to you. And it's never too late. It's never ever too late. And look, like, don't ever blame yourself for having those emotions or that trauma. It's a beautiful thing in the end.
Yeah, beautifully said. I think you summed it up nicely.
So thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you, Anadi, for being here. I know that it's like a lot for you sometimes to talk and to be here. He's an introvert, so it means a lot to me that you do this with me, because I love talking with you and debating. I love your mind. I love your heart. I love your morality. So
I love conversation for sure. Yeah.
So thank you so much. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching this. I think this is the end of season 2, but I think I love doing these podcasts. So if you have any topics that you would want me to discuss, please feel free to send me a message. And again, thank you so much for being here.